Whiskey friends, far and wide, we are live. It's Tasty Tuesday. What's going on, everybody? I'm Eric, your humble malt muser. You're in the right place. 3 hours of whiskey chat coming up. As we do always here on a Tuesday, I am beaming my signal from the second city, the Windy City, the Wild Onion, Chicago, Illinois. Good to see we got a nice cruise already looking like they're at the virtual bar. Let's say hi to everybody, get into it, and I'll set the table for what you guys can expect for the next 3 hours. All right, first in the door tonight, Paul in Montreal saying hello. What's good, Paul? Happy Tasty Tuesday to you too, sir. Great to have you here. On the other side of the continent of Canada, Ben Demon Hunter saying hey to Paul. What's up? French in Duluth. What up? How are you? Apparently the family wants to go outside and roam about. So I'll be catching up the tail end with Telex the Malt. Sounds good, man. Great to see you, Ben. We'll catch you a little bit later on the Malt and Telex show. Tamika Ivy, Calumet City, southern Chicago suburbs. Excited to see Malt Sexy. All right, Tamika. Always nice to have you in the house. Daniel, East Texas. What's up? Good to see you. Got rye in the glass tonight, as do I. Just finished up recording a review of a rye whiskey, which will drop on Friday. Which one? You'll find out. Daniel says he's got his sexy hair ready too. All right, we're all good here. Naked grouse in the glass for our friend Daniel. Saying hi to Paul. I like white tooth hair. So if you have that, then load it out, boy. There you go. Good stuff. What's in everyone's glass? Good question. Well, I guess I'll just spoil it now. So Friday review, Wilderness Trail rye whiskey. Good stuff. I am enjoying some of that right now. And Patreons, you will get that tomorrow. See that review. Water for me. It's got a blood test. Oh, all right. IC86. Hello. How are you, buddy? Good to see you. Just ate. So he's got to settle down and decide. Choices. Chris S. Also got water and eating. Oh, boy. We're catching everybody at dinner time. Yeah, take it easy, man. Take it easy. Saying hi to 86. Rye for you. Another hello to 86. Everybody's saying hi. Good deal. Going to start with the Glenmoe 10 before getting into some Springbank. Okay. Springbanks are hard to find in Montreal. Gotcha. I can imagine. They're not always easy to find here. It's going well, man. It's going well. It's another Tuesday. Worst day of the work week. Best night of the work week. That's the way I would put it. Hi, Eric. Take it easy, man. Mahir, Delhi, India. What's up, buddy? Nice to see you, man. You get those froigs? Live fast, die young. There you go, man. SoCal. Where's our boy Cohen? Holding it down. Smashing that like button. Hey, I appreciate that. Alpha Crown. I'm here because of Springbank. Well, you're here. So thank you for that. Only 104 in the valley. Oh, man. Chill night, hey? You probably don't even have the AC running. Thank you. You got to love me some Sabbath. Timothy Juarez. What up? How are you? Jersey. Andrew Page. Indy Fetter Karen. Nice mail call today. All right. Alkaline water time. There you go. We've got a hell of a crew in the house. 13 folks in already. I already know what the suggestion score on that is. Oh, do you? We'll see about that. All right. We got 3 hours of whiskey chat coming because that's how we do on a Tuesday. Let me set things up. Tonight, my featured whiskey for our happy hour is going to be Springbank, 12 years old, Cask Strength. So we're getting some Campbeltown single malt in the action. It's been a while since we've had a Springbank or talked Springbank for that matter. So we'll get into that. Maybe I'll jump into a little sample later. Who knows? And then Telex in Mulcho tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. We're heading to the lowlands of Scotland. We got Auchentoshan. So we'll be checking out in hour number 1, the Auchentoshan American Oak. And in hour number 2, the Auchentoshan 21. So if you're interested in learning about lowland whiskeys or Auchentoshan, and Auchentoshan for that matter, we'll be chatting about it for 2 hours right after happy hour. So as I always do, when it's time, I will drop the link in the chat. We'll all head on over to Telex's channel and continue the Tasty Tuesday festivities. So I'm looking forward to that. It has been a long time since I have had any Auchentoshan whiskey. And I'm also really looking forward to trying a 21-year-old. These are 2 samples sent over by Telex. So I'm looking forward to getting into those. But in the meantime, let me set this up a little bit here. So I'm going to get this in the glass now. What we're looking at tonight to kick things off on a Tasty Tuesday, Springbank, 12 years old, Cask Strength. One of my favorite Springbanks, probably my favorite Springbank, to be completely honest with you. Here's a take a look at the bottle. Classic Springbank bottle. They do, I believe, 2 batches of this each year, perhaps 3, but I know they do 2 for sure. And they don't actually tell you the batch number. You got to look it up online. But you do know the difference between them all because they have different ABVs. The ABV on this one in particular is 56.1%. And from what I understand, this is batch 21. So non-chill filtered natural color is always what you'll expect from Springbank as they do it old school. Interesting little side note about this batch in particular. Now, they don't tell it to you on here, but a little internet research reveals that the cask types on this is 45% sherry, 25% bourbon, 5% port, and for the first time, as I understand, in any Springbank 12-year-old cask strength, it is 25% Burgandy. So they got 4 different casks working together here on this batch 21. As I said, 56.1%. Bottle of this stuff, it can be a little difficult to find. You don't really see it sitting on the shelf at your average liquor store. But if you go to more boutique shops, you can usually find it. You can also find it online. Usually these run around that 115, 120 mark. Recent year, over the last year, I think in part due to the tariffs that were in place, this was creeping up into the 130, 140 range. Hopefully, it's coming back down, but I still do see it around the 120, 125 range. That may sound like an expensive bottle for a 12-year-old whiskey, but if you know anything about Springbank, you know that you are getting the highest of quality product. And of course, this is at cask strength. So, the value is definitely good here. So here's one more look. They come in these kind of very, very minimal boxes, little display windows. Springbank also has 2 other brands that come out of their distillery. A heavily peated brand called Long Row and a triple distilled brand called Hazelburn. Springbank, lightly peated is the MO on this. So the amount of peat flavor or peat notes that you get in this will vary based on what any bottle of stuff is that you buy. So there you have it. That is Springbank, 12 years old. I'm going to let that breathe a little bit. And in the meantime, let me just catch up here real quick as we got a few new folks in since I kicked things off. All right. Peter White, Ontario. Any thoughts on Black Tot 80 or 50? Oh, he's talking to Cohen. James Morgan, UK, over in London on a warm early morning. Welcome, James. Great to see you as always. Thank you for swinging through. Here, not much happening going on over in India. Hope you're staying safe, buddy. You and me both, brother. Tuesday is a good reason. in my opinion. Well, folks chatting with each other. Yeah, should be fun. As you can tell, I don't always align what I do on happy hour with what Telex and I are doing. But I figure one glass of Springbank and then a good half hour's worth of palate cleansing, we should be okay. We'll see. Great. Yeah, Daniel has a list here which actually tells you, this website tells you the actual batch numbers. I don't know why they don't put batch numbers on them. It's just how Springbank rolls. And that's that. 57.1% says Zach Andrew. Hey, Zach, this one's 56.1. But they do have some that go up into the 57s of their cask strengths for sure. So that is not, you'll definitely find it. And they have some, I think, are in the 55s too. Balcones for life, he says. All right. Zach does love his balcones. And thank you, by the way, for your efforts getting that Froke, man. I opened it. It's delicious. Dram dude. No Cal. What's up, buddy? Good to see you, Cody. Thanks for swinging through. Checked out your link. You have a batch 19. Great. Juan out on Oahu, Hawaiian Islands. What's up, buddy? Great to see you. Happy Tuesday. At Mount Muser, you need to get Black Tot 50th rum. Benice has it for 130. Oh, did you mention that in your email? I don't know if you did or not. I can definitely keep an eye out for it. I mean, it varies. You got to I got to find out which Benny's location. I mean, Chicago's kind of a big area, so sometimes it takes a while to get to the place that has some of these things. The one by my house is not particularly great, but the one in Lakeview and there's one out sort of towards Oak Park that's really good. I was there this weekend and got some Smoke Wagon uncut, unfiltered bourbon, batch 70. Which just happened to be sitting on the shelf. So that was cool. Okay, y'all. Let's dive into this Springbank. So I've given you kind of the overview. Now these whiskeys, these 12 cask strengths are complex as all hell. So my notes are probably gonna be all over the board. As you can see, I had only really had 1 or 2 drams of this and it wasn't that recent. So here is the color. It is completely natural. Springbank does not put color in any of their stuff, nor do they chill filter any of their whiskey. Again, this is a very different approach for them on the 12 cask strength, given that it's got 25% Burgandy cask maturation in addition to sherry, bourbon, and 5% port. So a lot happening. This is going to be a busy one for sure. Let's dive in and see what's up. And do let us know in the chat. You a fan of Springbank? Do you love the 12 cask strength? Have you had this one? Let me know. Love to hear your thoughts. Or if there are any particular, I know there is a newer one out. I believe the batch 22, which already came out. I think it's the first one of 2021. I don't know what the ABV is on that one yet, but or the cask types for that matter. Anyways, here we go. So right away on this, it is much sweeter than I guess than you would normally get on one of these. And what I mean by that is it's mostly fruit. A lot of red fruit, ripe, red, kind of juicy raspberry, strawberry, apple, cherries, grapes. There's a lot of just bursting flavor of fruit coming out of the nose on this. It does have a characteristic kind of a funkiness to it, this damp, like it's been sitting in a warehouse because, of course, Springbank uses dunnage warehouses, which have earthen floors. It does impart a very characteristic kind of funk to Springbank's whiskey that you really do not get in any other whiskeys. On this one, it's even more subtle than on a lot of their stuff. Trying to go a little bit behind that, there's just a bouquet of spices, clove. I really just get a lot of red fruit on this. and it's very deep. It's got a very rich note to it. This is not a very light whiskey by any stretch, and you can tell right away on the nose. It smells great. Has just a little bit of that funk to kind of remind you that this is a Springbank. Because I'll tell you, with absent of that, you might not even really notice because it's so fruity. Okay. Happy Tasty Tuesday, y'all. Let's dive in. Wow. Heavy, rich, dense. Chocolate, there's some chocolate, but again, red fruit is the star of the show here. It arrives very oily and viscous. As it develops, you get a nice chili pepper, cracked black pepper hit. A little bit of that peat, also subtle. A little bit of that funk. It's almost like I'm trying to like a sour beer. It's like a little bit of that. Slight kind of orange citrus. Almond, chocolate. Oh. As it goes into the finish, slightly drying, long, vanilla, chocolate. The bourbon cask seems to be asserting itself a bit more, but again, it's like it's chocolate covered fruit. Man. What is that? There's an earthy quality to it as well, which maybe is partially that funk, but like it's almost like a, like rich, not that it tastes like soil, but it kind of smells like it. Like the taste has a smell, if that makes any sense. Just like fresh, moist soil. Like you were out potting or planting something. Just a ton happening in this. And even going back to the nose now, after it just sat here for another minute and a half, 2 minutes while I was drinking it, it's changed. I was talking a lot about the red fruits. Now it's butterscotch. It's toffee. It's like vanilla icing on a pastry. Currant, blackberry. Man. This is delicious. A much more decadently sweet and almost dessert-like expression from Springbank here on the Batch 21, which, again, partially maybe from the Burgandy. I haven't had a ton of Burgandy cask whiskey. Burgundy is just like a brandy sherry. Fortified wine, just like any other sherry from a specific region in France. Darker qualities, and I think there's that, like, this has port in it as well, which I think always brings a little bit more of like a darker red grape thing going on. It's well crafted. It's a little bit, it's just different. It's different. And I guess part of the thing as I really love about the Cask Strength is you're always getting something a little different. Similar with like Lafroig 10 Cask Strength. The core nucleus of it is always the same. The characteristic distillery style at a younger age. So you're still getting some of that powerful distillate classic flavor. But God, there's almost like brewer's yeast in this. But it also brings something a little different. And they definitely tried something different with this one. Does it work though? God, I'm getting a mint chocolate chip ice cream still on the finish. Like it's, or like one of those Andes candies, those mint chocolate candies. I think this is one of the things you just have to love about Springbank. Even if you don't think it's a great whiskey, you still just marvel at the quality of their presentation, the craft that goes into it. You can just tell. I'm going to do a little bit of water, though. I mean, this is as close to a I mean, this is as close to a sherry bomb as I think I've ever had from Springbank. We'll do like 3 drops on this. Excellent pick. Gold standard. Oh, I'll have to take a look at that. Yeah, I agree with you on that. You had the last one you had was 19. Okay, yeah. And you have a 13. Wow, nice. He's got 19 as well. Probably his favorite. Okay. Is that the 57.1? That might be, 19. Yeah. Of course it is. G-Man, what's up? Good to see you, buddy. Cheers. Nice to see you, man. Happy Tasty Tuesday. Indy, out in Vancouver. What's up? We are spanning the country of Canada again tonight, which is always great. How do you get it? I don't know how you get it in Canada, but maybe you can get it in Washington. So again, the other thing I wanted to share was that the interesting thing in this 35% sherry. Interesting. So my understanding was that it is 45% sherry, 25% bourbon, 25% Burgundy, and 5% port. That is according to whiskey base. So maybe they have it marked wrong. I'm not sure. In any event, I think that the sherry is overwhelming, and not in a bad way. That's the newest one. Yeah. Oh, very relaxing. Nose brings out more of the bourbon here, though. Let's see what that tastes like. Man, I really like this. Again, this is a much more dessert whiskey, which is not something I normally say about a Springbank. I'll tell you this much. I'm definitely having another dram of it. Maybe a little bit more this time. I'll be honest. It's not. I mean, I've had a healthy amount of the Cask Strengths. If I'm thinking back correctly, I think it was batch 15 or 17, which I think was probably my favorite. I'd have to look back and confirm that. The thing about this one, again, I like that they're doing something a little different with this Burgundy addition to the casks on this. I do think, while it still has retained some of the complexity, which is something I think the Springbank 12 Cask Strength is known for. I mean, it is incredibly complex whiskey. I think the amount of just overwhelming fruit flavor on this, red fruit particular from the Burgundy, the sherry, and the port, does take a little bit away from it. As I was mentioning in the beginning, that kind of characteristic Springbank funkiness, that distillate that you usually get on this, it's a little more muted. Great stuff. I mean, if I was going to score it, this preliminarily, probably a 4, 4.25. Probably a 4, but I'd maybe go a little bit higher as it goes along here. I'm just getting, this is only 3 or 4 drams in, but boy, delicious stuff at $120. I mean, it's a strong 4. I honestly can't. I don't know if there is a Cask Strength that I would say is not worth picking up. Just with this one, I just think that you're getting something a little bit different. If anything, this would be the one you start with. If you were going to do a flight of Springbank 12 Cask Strengths, this would be a good one to start with. Or finish, actually. Now that I think about it, maybe you want to start with the more complex, the ones that have more of the complexity up front first, and then, kill your palate with the heavy sherry notes. God, but even, just sitting there smelling it now, it's like you just pick up more and more little subtleties. There's like a Chinese 5-spice almost. Just like black tea. It's all very subtle, but it's blanketed over by this heavy sherry Burgundy. I can dig it. I'm going to have to look for that new one too. I actually didn't buy a couple of these. I missed like batch 18, 19, and 20. I didn't, or it was 18 I missed. I think I missed, yeah, in the last year. Maybe it wasn't, yeah, 18, 19, and 20. I'd have to look at which ones I have. I have like 2 or 3. I just don't know what the ABVs are. Wow. That's a heavy price. The 56.1 is 65% sherry, and it's so similar to 57.1. Okay. Wish I had some Springbank 12, but at least I'm really the neck pour of the Fender Karen. Are you able to find Springbank 12s at all around where you are in Jersey, Andrew? I'll be curious if people see this stuff like readily in their areas or not. When I was in Philly, I could find these in South Jersey. You know, if you showed up at the right day at, you know, the right liquor store, you would find it. Not readily available, and it's not an easy one to find. Usually, it's the Springbank 10 and the 15, maybe the 18. Yeah, Springbanks are not exactly the easiest ones to find. Only place you can get Springbank is Alberta, and you need to have friends. I'm sure. Is there somebody from Alberta in the house? Hook Peter White up. We got so many awesome Canadians here. I'm sure somebody's got it. Tough to get in London too. Wow. Okay. Even like online. Yeah, right. Mahir's got to go. I have to attend to an important call. Hey, take care, man. Good to see you, buddy. Stay well. By the way, he was DMing me earlier this week. He's found a liquor store in India with like a cachet of green tube Lafroig 18s for 110 American. What? I said, man, buy every one of those you can, bro. Every one of them you can. Oh, God, there's strawberry on this. Man, if you didn't know it, you'd think maybe there was PX in here. Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying that one. Valanche. What is that? Interesting. Reverend Ralphie's sermon today was epic. Why are there not more honest reviewers in the U.S. not worried about their status in social media like Ralphie? Ralphie rules. I did not see what Ralphie's video was today. I'll have to check that out. Oh, excellent. Good deal. I'm going to have to look for that. What up, Jack? Good to see you, man. Yeah, he does do that. Yeah, Malt, that bottle is snapped up. They usually stagger release here in the laundry. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. All right, I'm going to have to check out Ralphie's video. I don't know how I missed that one today. Might have been because work was busy. In any event, Springbank 12 Cask Strength, another really solid release. I believe this is the second or third, no matter what, it was the last release from 2020, 56.1%. And it is the first one, as far as I understand, that they had added Burgundy to the cask that they used for this. So it's sherry, it's port, it's Burgundy, it's bourbon. A lot going on here. Freaking delicious. Non-chill, natural color. You know, prelim score, I'd go to about a 4 on this. Not my favorite, but no slouch, and I would definitely buy a bottle if I saw it in the wild again, that's for sure. ML Muser, I used to buy Springbank 12 at Bottle King, about 110. Yeah, that sounds right, man. Hopefully we're getting back to that. I've heard some rumors that prices are starting to drop again on some of the whiskeys that we saw big increases in. So like Lagavulin 16, which 2 years ago was like $75, is like $100 now, basically everywhere. But I've heard some folks saying that they're starting to see it drop down to like 80. So hopefully, fingers crossed, once our local establishments get through their current stock, we might see some prices drop a little bit. Well, thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that. I loved it. I wouldn't say it's worth the price. It's not, actually. I mean, those are like, unless you get it at MSRP, and even then it's a stretch. Those Supernovas they're really, really good. It's hard to shell out over $300 some for an NAS whiskey, even an Ardbeg. And Ardbeg does NAS whiskey usually about as good as anybody. Is it a must buy? No. You'll get about, I think it's a notch higher than the Ugadal, but it's more in the Ugadal style. So like, if you like Oogie, stick with that. You'll be fine. Music. I can't find it cheaper than like $6.50 here. Kapil, our other friend over in Delhi. What's up, man? What's good? Yeah, I don't know how easy it is to get your hands on Springbank over in India, but I would buy anyone you can if you don't see them often. You used to be able to get the 10 around. Yeah, that's another one where the 10 is like $85 nowadays. Crazy. Yeah. I'll admit I have not had a lot of Springbanks. I do have a decent collection of them. I have a 17 Madeira, 15 rum. I have a 13 green, a single cask Sauternes, and a local barley, which are probably the most rare ones I have. But I've never really, other than a sample that was sent to me by Whiskey Pilgrim of the 21, I've never really had any of the older ones. And it's mostly just because they're so damn expensive. And I'm just not willing to shell out, $275 or whatever for the 18 or $600 for the 21 or whatever. They're just too damn expensive. Every once in a while, Springbank is one of those that, like, when you see any type of deal on them, you got to snatch it up. You just have to. 50-50 bourbon and sherry for batch 22. Okay, so they went back to that. Oh, okay. So they kind of went back to the just the bourbon and sherry. Interesting. Yeah, that sounds right. This one, again, it's different, man. And it's cool that they didn't kind of just continue with it. This was like a one-off maybe, but Cohen. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a good point, Cohen. I mean, I'm hoping that's the case, but that they'll drop. But you're probably right. I mean, I think that most of these folks are going to realize that, like, even if they're getting it for cheaper now that the tariffs are gone or whatever, they're going to be like, well, why drop the price? Because, I mean, anybody's going to pay it. That makes sense. Oh, so you got one of these too. Okay. Curious if you got any other notes out of this, Zach, or if I kind of hit the same things you did. Like I said, I mean, I do really like this. It's not my favorite Springbank 12 cask strength, but again, a not favorite Springbank 12 cask strength is still like a very, very good whiskey. I just find it to be a little bit, some of the just weird complexities are not quite there on this one for me yet. And I think it's just because of it's so heavy on the sherry and, just fortified wines. I love that stuff. First time I had it, I was in a bar in London about 2 years ago with my ex-girlfriend. And like, oh my God, I had it late at night. It was like, we just got to this place. I tried that. I tried Red Spot 15. I tried the Lefroy PX. And that Long Row 18 stole the show. It blew my mind. That was a damn delicious whiskey. Yeah. I mean, that's probably as good of a price as you're ever going to find on that. Oh, yeah. Okay. So you're kind of with me on that. Yeah. Right. It's just a little bit too much, but it's not, again, it's not bad. It's just like, it just doesn't quite have the opportunity to shine as much. I wonder if we put if you put a significant amount of water on this, just for the hell of it, I'm going to do like 4 drops on this like half ounce that I have left just to kind of see. And then we'll do 5. 5 more drops. Bring this down considerably and see what happens. Anyways, we got 23 folks in, man. Great to see everybody here on a Tasty Tuesday as always, man. Appreciate y'all's support. Great to hang out, build the community, man. You guys are the best. Top of the hour, keep an eye on that comments section. I will drop the link in the chat. Not the comments, the chat. I'll drop it in the chat. That's where it goes, not the comments. It'll be a link, and it'll be a link to Telix, the Whiskey Text channel, because that's where we'll all be heading at the top of the hour for 2 more hours of Whiskey Chat. Telix and I will do the Telix and Malt show as we always do on Tuesdays. We are heading to the lowlands of Scotland, Auchentoshan, and we're going to be checking out in hour number 1 the Auchentoshan American Oak, and in hour number 2 the Auchentoshan 21. So we got 2 of them coming up. Should be a lot of fun. Picked up the Supernova 20. That's a great price. That's a great price. That you're not going to find it cheaper than that. Yeah. I would buy it at $240 probably because I'm a Ardbeg degenerate, but Alpha Crown. Yeah. I'm kind of with you on that. It takes a little bit away. It's still good, but it takes a little bit away from that complexity. Going all Ralphie with yeah. I mean, you know, I am but a learner. He is the master. He knows what's up. So I mean, I've probably diluted this down to close to 40%. I'll tell you what I notice a lot more now. Still, it's not kicking up more of that kind of Springbank funk, but what it is doing is the bourbon cask. More vanilla, more kind of cereal, like shortbread, honey. This is, again, another reason to buy a Springbank 12 Cask Strength is you can mess with this, man. And it's still like, you're going to notice something different every time. Yeah, much more bourbon qualities in this now. Vanilla. All right, let's taste it. If I was going to go Ralphie, I'd go, better. Slight treacle note now. Much more spice. I'll be honest, actually, this has changed considerably. It's a little bit more raw, as you would expect. Spicier, lighter on the texture. I know we've went 35 minutes on the Springbank, but it's a Springbank. We'll show it its respect. It's a very different whiskey with this much water. So basically what I think I'm learning here is like the amount I put on it in the beginning, not enough to kind of break through that overcoat of the heavy kind of red fruit, sherry notes. This, a little maybe too much. I think maybe a couple of drops less would be the sweet spot here. But still, very dessert-like, very cordial. Different. God, that's good. Now it tastes a little bit more like some of the others I've had. It's got more of a tartness, more of a bite to it of this kind of citrus. Not so much just like cloying red fruit. Oh, man, this is going to be a fun one to mess with. Good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, very possible. I love the Springbank 15. Really, really enjoyed that one. The 18 Long Row is also really great. I've only had a small taste of a Springbank 18, and it didn't knock the socks off or anything like that. There you go. I see 86. Yeah. Buy one at 240, sell it at 500. You probably definitely could. Secondary market, 500 might be a little high, but yeah, there you go. Sweet note and distillate note pop. Yeah, you're totally right. Great points. G-Man. And looks like they haven't updated the 12's cask strength description for 4 years. How Springbank is that? Like, they don't even, they just probably forgot they have a website. That's too funny, man. G-Man. That is too funny. That is too funny. They're like, still advertising whiskeys from like 5 years ago. Relatively recently, I mean, this is where I'm at. So I'm past the neck. I mean, this has clearly got a ways to go. And again, with a whiskey like this, it's worth, checking in on it, giving it that time, because again, it is such a high quality product, which I know I keep saying, but it's true. Redman, what's up? Maybe the batch I had just didn't hit with me. I am probably not the norm, but I like Springbank 10 more than the 12 cask strength. Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, I could understand. I could sort of understand that. I mean, again, like the 12 cask strengths, you are really just going to get something different with each one. Are you a fan of sherry in general? I do think the 12 cask strengths, for the most part, are going to have a bit more sherry going on than that 10 does. So that could be part of it. Loch Ness. Hey, man, the party doesn't start until you walk in, bro. Good to see you, buddy. We've just been chatting Springbank 12 cask strength, the batch 21. Do it. Man, if that's K&L's price, we're going to have to wait a little while. I got really lucky. I grabbed a couple bottles I found at this shop of the Springbank 15 from 2016. This was last year. I think it was my review I did of the 15 last year. It was one of those older bottlings. They were selling them for 96, just sitting on the shelf, 96. Old black boxes, all of that. I went back in there before I moved to Chicago, and they had, the new ones that look like this, except it's green, and they were like $1.50. So it was like, oh yeah. Most of them are good. Good to know. Yeah, I feel you, man. Folks saying hi to Loch Ness. Always good to have him in the house. Not a big fan of sherry whiskey, but usually love the peat and sherry Lefroy Le Chag. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Chag. Definitely. You've had that Le Chag 18, I'm assuming, probably. That one's. Yeah. So I wonder if it's the sherry that kind of doesn't do it for you on the 12 cask strength. It's very, very possible. Nice, man. That's awesome. Wow. Very cool. So I'm going to go back to my my rye now. As I mentioned, about 15 minutes, Telex and Malt Show will be launching. I will drop the link in the chat. We are talking Auchentoshan tonight. So what better way to get ready for Auchentoshan than to go back to this rye whiskey I was drinking. So Patreon supporters, tomorrow you will see my review drop of this. This is the Wilderness Trail rye. It is single barrel and cask strength. That is how they drop them. That's how they roll. It's a good one. Everybody else, if you're not on Patreon, feel free to join. And if you can't, no big deal. Appreciate your support in any way you give it. This will my whiskey review. This will drop on Friday. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to drink that. I think what I'm going to do is grab a sample really quick. 1 second. Oh, let's see what we got here. I'll just grab one of these random sample boxes. I got a decent amount of them, which is nice. Good problem to have. There we go. Balcones. For our Balcones friends, this is the Balcones Mirador, 56.2%. I'm going to drop this one in. Got a glass here. Sip this bad boy. Get us ready for... This is the right way to go into an Auchentoshan tasting, right? A bunch of Cask Strength whiskey. Why not, right? It's the way to do it. We'll leave that wilderness trail for later. Just drink more. I know, I want to, but this is going to torch my palate. Malt Muser, I will get you a sample of that. Dude, that would be amazing, man. Yeah. My email is malt.muser@gmail.com. Feel free to connect. I'm always happy to talk to folks about doing sample swaps and whatever. And for Patreon folks, we will have our second giveaway raffle of some samples coming up. For folks who were part of it last time, we did Yamazaki 12, Barrel Bourbon Batch 27, and Compass Box Magic Cask. So I'm going to have a couple other ones that are going to be part of the next one, which may include one of these choice Cavalan Solis that I have up there. So I'll let you all know when we're ready to do another sample raffle. Hey, thanks, Daniel. Thanks for dropping it. Join, but my non-whiskey Patreon has to start paying off first. There you go. Hey, man, whatever's clever. I will dig out my... Do it. Yeah. What does the Valanche actually mean? Does that have a specific meaning? Because I've seen that like Brook Lottie releases some of those too. I'm actually just kind of ignorant about what that means. Oh, I'm talking about the 18. Leo, what's up, buddy? Nice to see you, man. Cheers. We got 27 folks in, which is awesome, man. We got about 10 more minutes to go. And I will drop the link for Telex's and Malt Show coming up at the top of the hour. Bertex Moscow. Hey, how's it going, girl? Nice to see you. You are so late. You missed everything. You're not going to know about Springbank now. I know you were chomping at the bit to learn about it. Saying hi. What else is going on? Ah, yes. Thank you. That makes sense. I think I had heard that once before. Appreciate it, Peter White. Dropping knowledge. Cool. So, Mirador, Balcones. Well, this is fucking delicious. Again, I'm increasingly a big fan of these Texas whiskeys from Balcones. I think maybe next week I'll do a deep dive into the Froke as the featured malt. I'm not quite sure yet. I have something really special coming. It is a 15-year-old Glenfiddich from 2005 or 2015. One of the two. I think 2000. I'll have to look. Distillery bottling. It's like a Cask Strength 15-year-old Glenfiddich. I have a feeling that I'm going to want to open that. And so I may do an uncorking of that next week for the kind of featured bottle on the happy hour. We'll see. But it'll be that or, I got the Barrel Bourbon Batch 29 coming, which just dropped. So, who knows? Maybe we'll do that too. We'll see. Scott Ferguson in Chi-Town. Friend of yours? Yeah, connect us, man, for sure. I can't speak much on Daphne. I don't know. I have not had enough of it, man. I really can't tell you. I'm not going to speak out of turn on that. Rhonda found a random case plus today of that particular Mirador. It's delicious. Very bourbony. It's got a lot of floral quality to it. The other thing I might actually do next week, so I have a smoke wagon, uncut, unchilled, filtered, all that jazz, the batch 70. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that. Oh, another thing I got coming. Jefferson's rye whiskey finished in cognac. So it's pretty good, 47%. The ABV is what sold me on it. It's about $60. I got it in the mail right now. I'm real curious about that. So I have a couple different ones. I want to try to keep it to Scotch. I know I've been doing a lot of bourbon and non-Scotch whiskeys over the last couple of months. So I'm trying to do more, trying to get back to do more single malt. Not because I have no shortage of it or anything, but mostly just because I've been really feeling non-Scotches of late. You know, you ever go through those phases where you're just kind of like, you get into a groove with a certain thing that's just quenching your thirst at the time. Maybe it's rye, maybe it's rum, maybe it's Irish whiskey, and you kind of just get hyper-focused on that. I'm trying to keep a mix for the reviews and stuff like that. Because I don't want to get pigeonholed into being like a, one of these bourbon only guys or something like that. But usually around summertime, I start feeling the bourbons. Spring, summer. This Mirador is great. So the Balcones is another example, and I talked a little bit about this last week. I think Octomore on the Scotch side again proves the point. Casks are king, man. I think you can do wonders with young whiskey if you have good casks. You really, really can. Climate also plays a big role, but even not. I mean, this Balcones is what, 3 or 4 years old? What is that equivalent to, a 7 or 8-year-old Scotch? It's absolutely killer. Full flavor. It's just huge. Can I give Zach Andrews? Yeah. Malt.muser@gmail. Yeah, the ball bearers. Yeah. I have a 92nd batch, or second release, a 99, 03, 05, and then I have an 05 single cask. And behind it, I have a Gordon MacPhail 21-year-old Ballblair, which I got to open one of these days. Maybe I should do that next week. Fucking Ballblair. That seems like a fun one. Yeah, I still hunt for those old vintage Ballblairs as much as I can. I really enjoy Ballblair's style. It's a very relaxed whiskey. I just love sipping those. And, ever since they went to the boring, age statement stuff and stopped doing these, I don't know. I got really no interest in Ballblair anymore. So I try to find those when I can. Hey, Ben. If someone was trying to chat with me, then I'm sorry. Oh, no, don't worry. Nobody was trying to chat. We forgot all about you. Kidding. I hope you're enjoying the outside, man. It's got to be beautiful out there, man. Especially around this time of year. Jared Master is an artist. The guy knows his craft. Hey, man, that's real. That's real. He really does. Malt Muser, Scott Ferguson is a channel on YouTube, and he knows a lot and drinks everything. Okay, I got to keep an eye. I'll look for that. Do you know the name of his channel? If he's in Chicago, I'm totally game to hook up. That would be awesome. I'd love to connect with him. Thank you, Cohen. Kick ass. Keep in mind the economy is skyrocketing in many areas and all costs are rising. Yeah, that's true. Very, very, very true. Yeah, right. Exactly. Well put. Well put. Oh, I'm just giving Ben a hard time. Don't pile on him. I'm just goofing with him. All right, y'all. So Telex has got his link up. I'll drop this in the chat. We can slowly migrate over. He'll be starting in just about 5 minutes. Telex and Malt Show tonight will be Akatoshan Lowland single malt. Now, as y'all know, I am not a firm believer in the whole regions thing about Scotch, particularly non-Islay, I think the region thing is a marketing thing more than anything. This whole like idea that there's a regional style. However, lowland style scotches. So you're talking about the lowlands of Scotland, you know, basically closer to the English border, south of Edinburgh. Most of them had a considerable Irish influence, whether it was immigrants or whatnot. And so a lot of the whiskeys made in Scotland in the lowland region are triple distilled. So you're getting a much cleaner, less full-bodied whiskeys. Auchentoshan, we'll find out whether or not it lives up to that. But yeah, that's the case. So maybe it bucks against the idea that the regions don't matter. I don't know. There's not very many distilleries down in the lowland region. You have Glenkinchie, you have Bladnoch, you have Auchentoshan. Rosebank was one of them, but good luck finding any of those. So it should be interesting. This will be it's if anything, it's a good review to be doing here in the as we're heading into the thralls of summertime. So that'll be fun. If you want to learn a little bit about Auchentoshan, or just want to drink some lowland whiskey, or just want to drink with us in general, man, you guys are always invited. It's going to be a lot of fun, as we always do. His channel is Scott. Okay, I will sub to his channel like literally right now. I'm very interested in hooking up with anybody in Chicago about whiskey because oh yeah, here he is. Unlike Philadelphia, it does not have a robust whiskey society. So I'm going to have to do a little bit more digging. Yeah, there you go. Thank you for that. Cheers, Ben. Glad you can pop in and out. Auchentoshan 21 was too vegetal for me. I gave. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, these are both samples from Telek, so I'm going into them blind, man. This is going to be interesting. I'm not really quite sure what to expect. I have had two Auchentoshans before. I've had the 12 and I have had this American Oak that we're going to try, but it was so long ago that I honestly don't remember what I thought about it. I haven't bought a bottle, so I clearly didn't think much or enough, but we'll see. This is a really good Balcones. Anyways, let me tell you guys a little bit of what's coming up. So, Patreon supporters, again, thank you so very much for all you do. You really are helping power this channel as I continue to grow and find good whiskeys to share with everybody. Wilderness Trail, one of the more exciting distilleries. There's a lot of reasons why they're exciting. Patreon supporters, you will find out tomorrow because you will get early access to my review of their rye whiskey. For folks who are subscribers, you will get a notification Friday morning. This is the one to keep your eyes out for sure. Really, really good stuff. I actually have a store pick version of this that I cannot wait to open. But as you can see, I have put a healthy dent into this. And for a rye whiskey that I bought this year, well, that says something. So I'll be dropping my review of that. Be sure to keep an eye out for it. Of course, we'll be back next week, also doing the live happy hour show. Not quite sure yet what the whiskey that I'm going to profile or talk about is. Tonight, of course, was Springbank 12 Cask Strength Batch 21, 56.1%. This funky one that they did with Burgandy, amongst sherry, port, and bourbon. Good stuff. Prelim score 4 out of 5. Grab it. Grab any of these you see anytime you can, if you can afford it. You really can't go wrong. Springbank in general just generally kicks ass, and their 12 cask strengths I think are really amazing, particularly if you like sherry. As our friend noted earlier, who was not a huge fan of it, is probably likely due to the sherry content. They are a bit more sherry than like the 10-year-old, for example. So the 15 is also pretty sherry. So keep your eyes out for it. It's really good. I got mad respect for Springbank. I think Loch Ness or G-Man that mentioned that they went to the distillery recently. Freaking jealous of that. if you go to Scotland ever, Springbank has to be on that list. At least it is for me. Okay, I'm going to drop this link one more time. Telex is about to start the show. If I don't see you over there, I hope everybody has a great week. Stay safe, be well, and we'll see you next week on Tasty Tuesday Happy Hour. But if not, I'll catch you in just a few minutes over on the Telex and Malt Show, and we will jump into some Akintoshan. All right, everybody. Much love. Sláinte.